Welcome back to the Brandon K Show. I'm your host, as always, Brandon K, and this is a real show. Yeah, yeah, buddy. We are doing videos every day in March right now. Every single day in March, you will be seeing Brandon K videos. We're in the middle of Dealing With Week. So we already did dealing with anxiety, dealing with alcoholism, dealing with depression. Tonight, we're doing dealing with grief and anger with my special guest, Michelle.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle, and I am an energy healer. I practice Reiki. Um, I am an EFT practitioner, a life coach, and I will be continuing soon my education to be a substance abuse counselor.
Super awesome. I know all that. I know a lot of that stuff. What is EFT again?
It is emotional freedom technique. It is tapping on meridian points on on your body while you're programming positive affirmations. First you tap out the negative and then you tap in the positive.
Oh wow, I never even heard of that.
hmm
Where did
it
you hear about it?
uh I started learning about it because after my breakup with the boyfriend we'll be discussing, I had a friend that I knew for years that was an energy healer slash life coach, and she taught me the EFT, and then I got on Udemy and I got certified to be an EFT practitioner.
So this woman has a lot of knowledge about everything: psychology, energy, healing, everything. Um, as always, we're gonna start by saying that Brandon K Show is sponsored by Giftiply. So we want to do our ad real quick. Let's see. You know, Brandon Brandon K Show is sponsored by Giftiply charity wrapping paper, flat pack for convenience, eco-friendly, and made in America. Elevate your gift giving throughout the year with Giftiply charity wrapping, the gift wrap that gives back. And each purchase includes a 33% donation to one of 8 incredible causes. We got they got really awesome designs. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's this one. Alex's Lemonade Stand for Childhood Cancer, Best Friends Animal Society for Pet Reserve and No Kill Shelter. Give Kids the World, It Gets Better Project, LGBTQ Youth Empowerment. We had them on the show a couple weeks back. Michelle, did you see them on the show? The Gift Apply guys?
No,
Oh, charity chat?
no, I
Oh,
didn't
I
see
thought
them.
I saw. I thought you might have commented on that one. What did you think of the episodes that you have seen?
Uh, 2 weeks ago, I saw an episode with someone that was talking about children being our future.
Yeah, Mr. Crow, my tattoo artist.
Yes, that was so good. I commented a lot on that because I've studied child development because I didn't want to be the same type of parent that my parents were. If I am Gen X, I was raised during that time period, and therefore I was raised by baby boomers.
Mm,
And I
me
honest,
too.
yeah, it makes for some interesting parenting, like authoritarian parenting, but that
Because I mean, I'm not saying about necessarily my parents, your parents, but parents from that generation, they just think that their way is the only way a lot of times.
yes, it's
Yeah.
an authoritarian type of parenting that was suggested by psychologists and sociologists at the time. Um, I chose not to raise my daughter that way. Uh, we, as Gen X, did not have a voice in the house. Children were seen, not heard.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do that to my daughter, so I gave her a voice. Um, I also, for instance, I gave her two choices. I would tell her, you can do this, or this is going to happen.
Mhm.
I would only say it once, and then she would have her consequence, whether it was a good consequence or a bad consequence, but she always had her natural consequences. And I always noticed, because she's strong-willed like me, that if I gave her those two choices and she
Mhm.
got to participate in her discipline, she always did better because she felt in control.
So if she chose the first option, that's kind of like incentive to do a good thing, and then but if she doesn't do it, then she gets punished. Is that what you meant? Or
No, we don't punish.
okay, so what is that? What are the options?
I created a feelings corner for her when she was 18 months old.
Mhm.
She had books, blankets, dolls, everything that was appropriate for an 18-month-old child was in her feelings corner. And then I had emojis that had different faces that were put on tongue depressors. And I would just tell her, "Oh, do we need to go in the feelings corner? Because mommy needs a timeout." I said I needed a timeout. And she'd say, "Yeah." And she'd go in the feelings corner, and then she'd play for a little bit, and then she'd hold up her emoji that had the emotion she was feeling. And by that time, I was calm because I had my little timeout and we could discuss things.
So this was a number of years back, and then where did you learn how to do this kind of childhood development? Did you study it, or did you come up with it yourself?
I was at the library a lot. When I lived in Vegas, I joined the Family Resource Center. I was a breastfeeding mom, so I had joined a leche group.
Mm.
And also I
What is
was,
that? I don't know what that is. Leche group.
oh, it's breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding leche
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
Spanish word for
Spanish,
milk.
yeah.
Milk,
Warm
yeah.
milk, yeah.
Then I also was in the moms club too, from the time she was 18 months old till she was a toddler.
And they all shared advice.
Yeah, and then we also did mommy and me gymnastics, mommy and me swimming, mommy and me classes. Um I just educated myself because I didn't want to be like my parents.
And
So,
then
one of the other things I did was that I learned, if your baby is crying, they have a need. If you take care of their basic needs and they're still crying, that means they want to be held, right? So
yeah.
you give it to them. That's what they need. You give them what they need in the beginning so that they um, can what's that called? Feel safe in their environment.
And then they have like a healthy relationship with themselves and the world when you kind of give them nurturing in their early months and years, right?
Yes, and then eventually they get more independent
Hmm.
because they feel secure.
So there's
So
a certain time of childhood development where you distance yourself from them, and like you can't always be coddling them and cuddling them.
that's no, my daughter was either in my arms, on my lap reading, we were reading a book,
I'm just saying,
or
like
in the papoose, or on
I'm
my
saying I'm saying there's a certain point, like I don't know, 10 years old, where it's not.
Oh, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. They start learning autonomy as soon as they start crawling
right,
and stuff
right,
like that.
yeah. There's different stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that was all going well, but then our topic tonight was dealing with grief and anger. So that's what brought you to learning all this other stuff like energy healing and life energy, and you got into this after kind of like some hard times.
Yes. So I was with my last boyfriend. I haven't had a relationship in about 6 years because I felt like I needed to grow. So and then my daughter was 16 when my boyfriend broke up with me. And I thought to myself, I only have 2 more years with her. I'm just going to stay single, finish this off, and then maybe if I feel like I'm ready, I'll start dating again.
Mhm.
So it was a very dark time for me when he broke up with me. So and I'm very analytical and logical, and my dad raised me that if you're going to be with men, you have to think like a man.
What does that mean?
That just means that you don't like overwhelm them with a lot of information, and you have to be step ahead of them, and that you have your own money just in case
Mm.
so you have to be set up
Did
basically.
you take that to heart and like even talk less with your partner, or like when you say you have to like not say it, like how did you mean that exactly?
um well, I didn't overwhelm him.
Oh, it didn't overwhelm him. Did you tell him how you felt?
No, I didn't into any of that
Okay.
because my dad always told me they don't want to hear about feelings,
Oh,
and
okay. So
they
you
just are
didn't share that
looking
with
for
him.
a good time in the beginning. And so just keep it sweet to the point and have fun.
What do you think of this advice now? Do you think you'd still use that advice in your next relationship, or
Well, I tried to use it on my daughter as
yeah?
she got older because she wanted to have all these long-winded conversations when things weren't going right, and I was like, "Don't press that boy. I'm telling you right now.
Mm, mm,
He's going to go in the other direction. I
mm,
promise you. He
mm.
doesn't want a lot of drama. He's young and he wants to have fun."
So you would give this advice to people, to women
Um, well, they're not your counselors, and that's another thing I told my daughter.
who aren't your counselors.
The guys you're
The guys
dating,
are not your counselors.
they're not your counselors.
Mm-hmm.
You keep that to yourself, and if it's getting serious, then you kind of ease into things like that.
Because it's important to tell them how you feel, right? At some point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but not like right away.
Right. Well, let's see. You also talked about being a pattern breaker. That was kind of what you were talking about with the studying the child development. That was before this breakup or after the breakup?
That was through her whole life.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like I gave her a voice, for instance. The only thing that I didn't grasp was the yelling. So in our house, when she was young, I said, "How do you feel when mom yells at you?" "I don't like." She
Mm-hmm.
was 3, you
Okay.
know?
Okay.
I said, "Okay, next time I do it, I want you to say yelling, yelling, yelling."
Okay.
So she would say that and I'd calm down and then we'd have a conversation. But I also told her, "Mom does this all the time.
Uh,
So I'm not going to say sorry. What I am going to do for you, though, is I'm going to work my hardest to change my behavior."
so when you were yelling, she would say yelling, yelling, yelling?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, "I'm going to change my behavior."
Yes.
I said, because changed behavior is a true apology.
Mm,
So that's how I raised her.
yes.
Right? And I know that took place because when her boyfriend broke up with her when she was 17, he told her all the reasons that he was breaking up with her. And she said, "But wait a minute. You never told me these things and you never gave me a chance to change my behavior."
Mm.
So I know it stuck with her.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, that's part of a relationship is open communication. And I have it written something you said on my comments was transparency and vulnerability. So
Yes.
that's all very important parts of relationships with each other, right?
Mhm. And so another way that I was a pattern breaker was when she got to be a teenager and she'd call me on the carpet for some of my parenting style.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz my daughter's like me, she'll put me in check, you know.
Yeah.
I gave her the ability to do that, right? I gave her a voice. So how I formed her to be a pattern breaker was I told her, "There are things that grandma and grandpa did that I absolutely refuse to repeat.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that I struggled with until I did not repeat them anymore. And there's things that I still struggle with this today.
Mm-hmm.
You take account of the things that you don't like that I do,
Yes.
and you strive to not to do those things with your kids, and every generation will get better and better
Right.
and better for
Right.
it."
Yeah, well, hey, I think that's good advice. And then I know that you had this breakup, you got into all this. We went through the stages of grief we wanted to go over today. The stages of grief. These are from a book.
I got it off a website.
Okay.
So when I was studying breakups and why they happen, um, I found out that the number one factor was that one party in the relationship was not meeting the needs of the other person. So they actually didn't have faith in them
Mm,
to keep the relationship going, basically.
mm-hmm.
So I actually made a T on the paper.
Okay, let's see this. She's drawing a T
I
now.
made a T
Drawing a T.
and I put Patrick on one side.
Okay, that was the X.
Yeah. And then I put me on the other side like this.
Yes, yes.
And then I put all his reasons for why the relationship failed.
Right.
And then I put all the reasons I took responsibility for myself and all the reasons I contributed to it failing.
Okay.
I was very angry, which is part of the stages of grief when you're going through a breakup or a divorce. There are 5 stages of the breakup or divorce: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Uh,
So start with denial. That is like when someone passes or a breakup is going on, you're kind of thinking maybe you'll get back together.
yeah, that's this stage right here. So I took I was angry at the same time too while I was going through denial.
Mm-hmm.
And what I actually did was like, screw him, and I ripped it up the like up the middle, and I
Mhm.
was like, he'll never take care of this. Not my problem. My problem's me. And I started working on those things that were on
Okay.
my side of the list.
Okay. Did that help you not be angry?
No.
No, you're still angry.
So then I joined up with a coach.
Yes. Life coach?
And here's the denial part.
Like a life coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, how to get back your ex coach.
Okay.
Right?
All right. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes. Because I was still in denial.
Okay.
So I was going to make all these changes just to
For
get
you,
him.
and then you're gonna let him stay the same, and you're gonna change.
No.
No.
I was making these changes to get him back.
Right. But then when you get back with him, he's gonna be the same, right?
Okay, hold on. I'll
Okay,
get to
okay,
that point.
okay.
So I'm making all these changes.
Yeah.
And I call up an actual life coach, which was a good friend of mine from the Moms Club. I knew her from the Moms Club church, and then I took care of her kids when I did childcare at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a life coach / energy healer.
Mm.
And
Had you ever been into energy healing before?
well, when I moved to Yosemite National Park, I started researching Taoism and Buddhism, and started my journey on meditation, and I'd read books by the Merced River.
Or did energy healing come from any of that? Like, do they ever talk about that in Buddhism or Taoism? Or?
No,
Okay, so energy healing.
it's just chanting, and
Where does the energy healing come from? Who
it
kinda
came
came
from
up?
her.
Yeah.
The energy.
I just meant like before her, like who came up with this idea of energy healing? Do you know?
No, I never did.
Yeah.
Not until I broke up with him.
Yeah.
And then I got back talking with my friend Jessica.
Right. No, I just meant like historically. Do you know where like the idea of energy healing came from?
It's probably India.
Where she
Well,
learned
that's
about
where
it?
Buddhism
Here we go.
all.
Here we go. Thank you, Solomon. Energy healing has roots in ancient forms of medicine such as traditional Chinese medicine.
Ayurveda. I was going to say that because it
Ayurveda.
originates from India. It originates from the Eastern.
Now that's TCM. Is that no transcendental? No, that's something else. That's
Traditional Chinese medicine is the TCM
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
TCM is that vital energy force known as the chi, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
UI,
chi is
chi.
energy, life force energy
Surges
that's in
throughout
your
the
body.
body. Okay, so now I'm caught up. And you met up with your friend. What was her name
Yes,
again?
Jessica Walters.
Jessica Walters.
I still use her, by the way. She has a bachelor's in social work. She has a life coach certificate. She is emotion code certified and EFT too.
Okay.
And now she actually has her master's in clinical social work, so she has a practice. She's a counselor. So I get all that when I have my sessions. So
And at this point, you're doing all this to try to get this guy back, right?
yeah, in the beginning,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I'm angry and I'm feeling this anger to do positive things. So my first thing was I made a self-care binder.
Okay.
And then I started getting up at 5:00 in the morning.
What's in the self-care binder?
It had journal prompts.
Okay. Positive affirmations or
Yeah,
daily journals.
And
Getting in
then
touch
I
with your
started.
feelings.
Yeah, and then
Self-love.
it also had like inner child prompts.
work, shadow
Yeah.
work,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
No, I didn't get into shadow work until I started getting into the energy healing.
Okay.
So one time I was really triggered, right?
Okay.
And she goes, "Oh, do you know anything about chakra threading?"
Okay.
So it's actually, I said, "What's that?"
Yeah, sure.
So she started telling me about the energy centers that run from your tailbone all the way to the top of your head, right? And what each of them mean and what they do in your life.
They all have a different color and they open.
Yes.
They can be closed and open. I mean, I know a little bit about it, not a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And for instance, your root chakra is your basic needs and your foundation and stuff like that.
Can you pull up where that's from, Solomon? The chakras?
Root chakra?
Or no, where do the chakras come from? Is that Indian?
Yeah, that's Eastern medicine stuff.
Okay. So she taught you about this.
And so the meditation was actually you picture the chakras and then you picture it's actually a grounding technique, right?
Can we see them too? Can we get a picture of the colors?
Oh, the colors? Let's see
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if we can put
You
this on the
also have
screen
them
here.
in the pond. There's several. Like when I do my energy healing sessions, when I do my Reiki, I put the power symbol on and then I tap my hand chakras so that I have.
We got root right there at the bottom. You got the sacral that looks like it's around the stomach and pelvis.
The
Pelvis, yeah.
sacral is actually right here, hun.
In between the stomach and pelvis.
It's creativity and sexuality.
Is it right in your genital area?
Yes.
Okay. The solar plexus is like the stomach.
It's right here. This is your power symbol.
And then these are all connected to
your heart chakra is your ability to give and receive love. Throat chakra is able to speak with love. Third eye is your intuition, and crown is your spirituality.
Now, does everyone have a crown chakra?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's even one right above it.
Does everyone have a third eye chakra?
Yeah, we all have these.
Okay, so they're all in there, and then you just have to tap into them, and some can be more open and more closed.
Right. You can do meditations. You can listen to frequency music, or like I'm gonna tell you the meditation.
Okay.
So what you do is what you do is you stick your feet on the ground.
Feet on the ground, shoes off. Taking my shoes off.
And then you picture the core of the earth. And you picture a red string coming from the core of the earth, and it attaches to your root chakra, and it spins around it. And then you take it and you go. You take it and you go to your sacral chakra.
Okay.
And you wrap it around your sacral chakra. and then you take it and you go to your solar plexus chakra, which
We're
is
wrapping it
right,
around. We're
right
wrapping it.
here.
We're
Yeah,
wrapping
wrapping
ourselves
the
up.
red string around.
Wrapping ourselves up like it's almost like well, they call that like what do they call that? Like,
Grounding.
well, they call it like body censoring or something.
Mhm.
They're like a certain kind of
Well, your chakras spin.
right.
So that's why she says to wrap them around.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to your heart chakra
Mm-hmm.
and you wrap it around your heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And then your throat chakra.
I'm doing it. I'm wrapping
And then
myself
your
up.
third eye. And then your crown.
Very awesome.
And that's very grounding.
Yeah.
So after I did that, I felt so much better.
Yeah. You did that with Jessica.
Mm-hmm. And that was my first little tidbit of energy healing, right?
Right. I knew a girl named Jessica. She did Reiki on me.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah,
love Reiki.
I felt like some things opened up inside of me
Mm-hmm.
with the energy healing. Do
Yeah,
you do
you can
energy
actually,
healing?
yes.
Yes.
Actually, before I start my energy healing sessions, I take my pendulum and I put them over each chakra.
Mm-hmm.
So if they spin like this, that means that they're balanced.
Are you
If
almost
they're going like this, that means they're overactive.
Are you almost doing Reiki energy healing on yourself when you're by
Yes, I
yourself?
can do that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And then
You're supposed to do it like every day
to yourself.
to yourself. Yes.
In meditation, is that how you do it? Like
No.
you're just by your.
I usually put on some Reiki frequency music
Okay.
that has Reiki infused into it.
Yeah.
And then there's certain hand positions that you give yourself while you're doing that. And it helps you out a lot.
All right. Well,
Grounds you out.
we got a little on tangent there, but so we were on the different stages of grief, and now you did all this kind of stuff with Jessica.
So bargaining,
Yeah.
for instance.
Then you got to bargaining.
Bargaining was probably the hardest because we were no contact, right? But
So
I would bargain with like Jessica, for instance.
Okay, yeah.
Because she's a professional, so she'd be like, no, and she'd give me an assignment.
Would you
or
be like, oh,
something.
can I talk to him, or how did the bargaining work with talking to her?
She taught me how to test energetically, which is like kinesiology. So I'll give you. So you say this is.
Oh yeah,
yes.
you taught me this one time.
Yeah. So this is yes.
Yeah.
This is no. So
Right.
that's how you program, right?
Right.
So
Okay,
for
let's do it.
instance,
I don't know if they saw. Let's see. So you're just putting your fingers together.
Yeah. Say.
And then you're just like, I could say like no, no, no all day, but if you kind of loosen it up a little bit, then sometimes it'll open, and sometimes it'll stay closed.
Right. So my name is Michelle. Yes.
Right.
My name is Brandon.
All right. Well, before we get into this, the bargaining.
So she'd tell me to energetically
ask yourself questions.
That's right.
Ask yourself questions if something was right or wrong to do, kind of.
Yes.
Or if something was the right path or the not so right path.
Right. And so
and then
she'd say, well, you have the answers within you, Michelle. What do you think?
Yeah. And then after, I'm seeing your list here, after the bargaining goes through, then you enter a depression.
Mm-hmm. It was a very dark time. I kept researching, I guess you could say.
Researching?
Just researching.
Researching?
Researching about how to get back with them, how to get over it,
Right.
how to let it go. I just kept researching and applying the stuff. And then while I was in school, one of the energy healing modalities that one of the girls in the college knew was iridology.
What's that?
That's looking at the iris of
Solomon? Iridology? How do you spell it?
You're asking me?
Yeah, no. I was asking her to tell us how you spell it, and then you can look it up.
Iridology?
They look at the iris of your eye,
Yeah.
right? And they can tell you everything that's wrong in your body, okay?
Oh, really?
And
Yeah.
so she was telling me,
Alternative medicine technique whose proponents claim that patterns, colors, and other characteristics in the iris can be examined to.
Let's see. Can be examined too.
determine information about the patient's systematic
All right, so
health.
she looked at your irises.
Yes.
Yes.
And she said that I had blockages in this part of my body, right? Which
Huh.
I believe because
Did she stick a flashlight in your eye
well,
or a
she
magnifying glass?
no, she had her phone
Oh,
and she put the flashlight on.
okay.
But anyways,
Up
she
there it says iridologists generally use equipment such as a flashlight, magnifying glass camera, or silt lamp,
yeah, she used
microscopes.
her flashlight on her phone.
So she's shining out a phone in your eye.
And she told me that if I didn't start clearing things out and making changes, that something bad would happen in this part of my body, right?
Mm.
So that was another part of, oh, I better change. You know what I mean? So then 2 weeks later, I had my first Reiki session,
Good.
and she concentrated on this part of the area. And
The sacral chakra.
no, just this part.
Is it not one of the chakras?
Well, yeah, but this part of my body
Okay,
in
because
general,
yeah.
and she told me, "You have blockages."
Okay,
And I was
yeah.
like, I had not even told her what the iridologist had
Oh,
told
yeah,
me, and
okay.
she's telling me the same
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
So,
Because
yeah.
because they can feel your energy.
Yes.
They could feel what's blocked. Can you feel what's blocked?
Mhm.
Can you tell me what's blocked in myself?
No.
Because
I have to have you on my table and like
yeah.
doing a Boysen scan on you and
Okay.
stuff
And
like that.
with touching?
No, we
No
don't.
touching?
No, we just run. So we do the session, and
Yeah.
during part of the session, we go like this over the body to see what needs to be focused on. It's
Yeah.
called a Boysen
Yeah.
scan.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some Reiki. I had a friend named Randy. We would get together and he did Reiki originally where he did touch me and I wasn't as comfortable with that. But
Well, we do
that
touch
happens
you.
too. That
Yeah,
happens too. So there was that. But then later down the road, he could do Reiki just across the room like we are standing here today.
distance Reiki.
Yeah, he did that.
Yes, I do
And
distance Reiki too.
and he would stand there with me and he would say, I can feel like you're blocked, something's blocked in you. He'd be like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna work through it with you right now. And we'd be like at this distance from each
Yeah,
other.
I've pulled cords.
My friend Harris, he watches like Reiki videos through the YouTube. You might listen to
Mhm.
Reiki videos on the YouTube too. So technically they're doing energy healing through the phone,
Yes.
which is also another way of energy healing.
Mhm. And then I got into Light Star Magic with Jerry Sargent, and he does light languages to like heal people. But yeah, that's another
Light
form.
language. Does that include actual lights?
No,
Okay.
it's like verbal.
How about sound healing? You ever do sound healing?
Mhm.
Sound bowl?
Yeah, I have a sound bowl in my house.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, the
So
universal life energy. What is that?
universal life energy, force energy is what you use in Reiki. But recently I went on a so when I first came down to Huntington Beach, I was going through something and I was 110 pounds, and then I was eating at work, right? So I went up to like 140.
Mm-hmm.
And I started researching again,
Mm-hmm.
and it said that it doesn't matter how much you work out. It doesn't matter how much you eat right,
Yeah.
that if you cannot calm down your sympathetic nervous system, you will not lose weight.
Mm.
It actually said that getting on the treadmill and doing rigorous um, aerobic exercise and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
stresses you out and your cortisol levels go up too. So I started through Jessica. she taught me how to do vagal nerve exercises.
Vagal nerve exercises. Tell us about it. And this is we're in the section here between depression and acceptance. So I would assume when we get into this depression, it's almost like acceptance because we're saying this is real, it's happening, and I'm going to be depressed about it. But now we have to work through it. This might be a technique to work through it. The vagal nerve.
Right. And so meditation actually became a very big part of my routine. And so that helped a lot. And then the EFT too. And but the vagus nerve exercises, um, cryotherapy is one way to do it. If you do cold baths and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and you can actually meditate while you're doing it, you slow down.
Cold in a cold bath.
Yeah, like I did cryotherapy at the gym, and it's like 100 and below
Uh-huh.
130 in there, right? And
Uh-huh.
I did have the head covering and the
What?
mitts on, right?
That's crazy.
And I told him, "Hey, I'm gonna tone up my vagus nerve doing this." And he goes, "What do you mean? This is
Yeah.
supposed to get your adrenaline going. So
Yeah.
when you go out there and exercise, you'll burn off more fat."
Yeah.
And I'm like, it, I'm gonna show you how this works in a different way. So I got in that cryotherapy. He set it for like 6 minutes, something like that. And I started meditating, and it didn't even bother me, right?
Right. You were doing like some master meditation.
Yeah, and you literally could see the breath just
Mhm.
because I'm doing breath work in there.
You were saying, what'd you say? Under 130? What were you saying?
Yeah, it's below like 100 and something in there.
That's-
And cryotherapy. That's why they only keep you in there for 5 minutes.
Is that possible? That seems way cold.
130 or
Yeah,
under 30?
yeah.
That's what they
below
told
130?
me. That's what
Yeah.
Is that's got to be? I mean, obviously that's Fahrenheit, but it's
that's what they told me. I don't know.
Yeah.
They only keep you in there for
Yeah,
5 minutes.
I like never even been in like negative 0 degree weather.
Oh, let's see. Whole body cryotherapy here. Let's see.
I don't know. That's what they told me.
Right.
Yeah, no, it'd be
So,
hard to. I mean, I don't know how cold they go, but I'm hearing you. You're in a cold.
Yeah. So when you slow yourself down and you meditate,
Yeah.
that tones up your vagus nerve, like cold bath plunges
So
and
we
stuff
want to
like that,
go. We want to get into a cold temperature
and meditate
and
in it.
meditate while we're there. Not just getting in the cold temperature itself. That wouldn't be doing as much. You got to get there and then meditate to where you're not feeling cold, where you're kind of like coming back into like feeling normal or numbing. I mean, I'm sure you were
Yeah,
numb.
like
You were numb.
all our law of attraction people that are
Uh-huh.
very popular, like Tony Robbins,
Tony Robbins, when
Joe Dispenza, all those people,
coals.
they all have a cold plunge bath that
I've
they
been here.
get
I know
into.
it's very popular these days.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what this says. It doesn't give us temperature.
See?
It
There
says
it goes.
minus
No,
200,
not
something
that
minus-
cold. What are they talking
yeah,
about?
it says most tanks are shoulder height. Let's see. Put it on here.
They may be as cold as negative 200 to negative 300 degrees.
That's why they only keep you in there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it says you stand in the tank for 2 to 4 minutes during the treatment.
Would you ever do this, Solomon?
I mean, I think I would if I felt like I needed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
think
if
I
you
would.
do it for workout purposes, it creates adrenaline in your body, and you burn off your fat
I
while
think I'm
you're
gonna.
lifting weights.
I think
Gotcha.
I'm gonna do it for the
Yeah.
show at some point. I'm gonna do one of these cold tanks.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, and talk about it. And
And
what, you join
and,
me, you and I.
uh,
You don't want to do it again?
no, I only rinse off with the cold water, and then I wash my face with cold water too.
Oh, so you didn't do the ice plunge?
No.
Oh, okay, so you. So what did you do? You washed your face with 100
Ice cold water.
Ice cold water. Okay.
And then I rinse off for 5 minutes with ice cold water.
But you didn't get cold because you were meditating.
Right.
Okay.
When you say rinse off, you mean whole body?
Yeah. In
Okay.
the shower.
Got it.
Ask Christina. She'll hear me and go, "Oh, cold," like that in the shower, and then they know that's what I'm doing, But anyway,
I tried it. I heard that at a young age that it helps you learn discipline, or it's good for you. And so I've tried to take cold showers here and there, but they're always colder than you think they're going to be,
Mhm. Yeah.
because you never get used to them. Like, you try to sit there for a minute or 2 minutes, it stays cold the whole time. I mean, I like to be submerged, like go to the beach and be in there for 5 minutes, then I warm up. But like in the shower, it's kind of, you don't really get used
Different,
to it.
right?
Yeah.
Especially if you got warm water hitting your body and then
Hmm.
you turn it all the way down and then
So benefits of cold showers are
it tones your vagus nerve.
vagus nerve. What else can you do to tone your vagus nerve?
Meditation, different frequency music. Another way is an exercise that Jessica had me do.
Hmm.
So you turn your face this way for 30 seconds, then you turn your face this way for 30 seconds, then you turn your face this way for 30 seconds,
Hmm.
and then you take your eyes
Hmm.
and you make them go as far back as you can for 30 seconds. And then you turn your face this way and make your eyes go as far back this way for
Hmm.
30 seconds.
Hmm.
Because your vagus nerve starts right
Feels
here.
kind of good, huh?
Yeah.
Feels kind of good.
It goes right here at your stem and it
Yeah.
wraps around all your vital organs.
Hmm. So, and then why does that help your vagus nerve to do that exercise?
It takes
Calm
you out of your sympathetic nervous system, which
Okay.
is fight, flight, freeze,
Fight, flight, freeze.
and puts you in your parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, my friend Brett with the F3 podcast talks about the freeze, fight, flight,
Fight, flight, and freeze. Yeah.
moving into free flow
Well,
form.
yeah.
They did a great episode a couple weeks back with the doctor. I highly recommend the F3 Super Sober podcast. He's getting some great guests on that show.
Yeah, it's really good. Another thing that I researched was somatic exercise. So, somatic exercise are really smooth type of exercise that's relaxing. And I got the Better Me app. I only pay like
Oh,
20.
Better Me app.
Yeah, I
What's
got.
somatic? What does that mean?
Okay, so when you have traumas in your life,
Yes.
um,
Psychosomatic, that's the thing.
right. So these
Psychosomatic.
are somatic exercises that take you out of that, and it puts you in parasympathetic nervous
And
system.
what is the definition of somatic?
Somatic or like, so say somebody's having somatica and they've had trauma in their life, right?
Yeah.
They will have pain in their body.
Yeah.
Like I used to have so much anxiety that when my stomach would hurt, it would actually feel like my arms were on fire. Those are all, I'd be that cold. Those are all somatic responses.
Right. So I don't know. Anxiety's physiological and also mental, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, relating to the body, especially distinct from the mind. It's almost like being the cause of your own anxiety, like stress, being the cause of your own stress and anxiety.
Well, if you don't take care of your traumas,
Mm-hmm.
your body is the mind instead of your mind being the mind. That's why people will have panic attacks like this without anything triggering them or anything, because the body is the mind. When you've had a lot of trauma, you have body mind disconnects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with somatic therapies,
Yeah.
like Jessica, for instance, one of the times I came to her because now she's a counselor, she taught me mind body bridging techniques.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
And so those actually connect the mind to the body and see from a realistic perspective what's really going on, if it's something in your perspective or
These like
the real
would
perspective.
we say these are like mindfulness exercises?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a whole show on conscious reprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
We did a show, we talk about a lot of this stuff on the show. So I highly recommend that conscious reprogramming episode.
Yeah.
But let's see.
And then
Bridging the Gap. That's important.
well, The Body Keeps the Score is a very good book to read.
The
It's
Body Keeps the Score. I think Brett mentioned that on his
He did,
on
yeah.
his podcast.
Yeah, Body Keeps the Score is a very good book. But if you're at a certain level in your recovery,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be really careful because there's stories in there that will trigger you.
The Body Keeps the Score. You read that one?
No,
Okay.
no, but Joe Dispenza. I like
Did he
him.
write that one or not?
No,
No. I've heard of him. I know guys who listen to Joe Dispenza. He's all about the mind over matter, right?
yeah, he's actually into neuroscience, quantum physics, and law of attraction.
I gotcha. So you're
Like
Joe
I just
Dispenza.
got a book
Yes.
on him. I couldn't complete it because I had to turn it back into the library. But it's called The Mind. You Are the Placebo.
You Are the Placebo.
Yeah, it's a very good book.
Can you tell me a little bit about that before we wrap up here? What does that mean? You are the placebo.
That just means that you are capable of healing yourself. People go to Joe Dispenza's like conferences,
I gotcha.
and they come there with lots of like autoimmune disorders are a symptom of trauma, for instance. When they leave, because he puts you in like not hypnosis but meditation, and in his meditations he does like this mindfulness thing that puts you in the present, and then he'll tell you things that you envision your life basically the way you want it to be,
Right.
right? Because your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and what's real. So if when he's doing this, he asks you to smell things,
Right.
to feel it in your body,
Yes.
and to actually visualize it as if it
it's
is the
happening,
present
yes.
moment,
And because your
right?
body doesn't know the difference between the present and the future.
That's right.
So we're starting to use the law of attraction. And this is in my episode Belief Cycle, BEAR cycle. We talked about belief. This is the next level. If you believed in something so seriously with your whole heart, you could start to manifest it.
Yes.
As you start to believe it, then you start putting energy, action, and results.
Well, also your words have
Mhm.
vibration.
Right.
So you're sending those things out to the universe, right? So
Yeah.
whatever you're saying in your head and putting out in the universe is basically what you're going to manifest. But also in this meditation, he tells you to visualize the things that you do not want in your life.
Oh, really?
And then he brings you back to what you want in your life.
Right.
And then these people come and do these meditations and do his classes, and they walk out of there pain-free, not having autoimmune anymore, being able to walk again and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
That's what your brain is. You are the placebo. You are capable of healing yourself, basically.
The mind is capable of many things.
For instance, I did hypnobirthing.
Okay.
Did you know that if you use self-hypnosis for pain,
Right.
you will actually release what is it? Endorphins.
Endorphins, right?
400 times more powerful than morphine.
Well, the idea that hypnosis is real and we can hypnotize ourselves into believing things that aren't true, just that alone is, proof that hypnosis is real, proof that placebo has credibility to it, the placebo effect in our own mind. If you talk about crystals, like if I have a crystal and I say, I believe that this crystal is going to give me a good day, I can talk myself into believing that.
Right.
So I believe in all this stuff. We are running out of time. I want to get to the
Acceptance?
last stage of the grief cycle, which was the first episode of Brandon K Show, which is acceptance.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't see my
That's
ex.
when everything comes together.
Yeah.
and you finally accept reality and say, um, this bad thing happened to me, but I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna, accept it and move forward. So yeah, you talk about that now.
Yeah. So I didn't see him for 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had done all this work on myself. And I wasn't even thinking anymore about doing it for him, right? They were all healthy habits at this time, right?
Doing it for yourself.
So he came back to visit his niece and he called me, right? And he was buying dinner, taking me around his family, all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he came over and he thought he was going to get some, right?
Sure, sure.
And I thought in my mind, I haven't seen you in like 18 months. You broke up with me. You caused me all this.
Yeah.
And so I told him, "No, I'm sorry. That is not going to happen. I am not that person that you left."
Mm.
So then he started saying, "Well, long distance relationships are hard, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, here we go again. Nice. No, now for sure it isn't happening," right?
Yeah.
So, but I probably did something I shouldn't have done. I was like, "Well, I'm gonna get one more meal out of this
Mm.
guy." So
Okay. Yeah.
I invited my best friend, my daughter's best friend, and then my daughter, and I made him take us out to breakfast, right?
There you go. I mean,
And
that
then
was closure or something.
right,
Yeah.
and then afterwards,
Right, right.
I lowered the boom and told him, "This isn't gonna work because I can see that I'll be in the same situation again. You still don't want to get married,
Mm.
so there's no reason to pursue
So he
this."
didn't change his tune at all?
No.
Yeah.
I said, "So we're just gonna not contact each other anymore.
Right.
I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You did a lot of nice things for me, and you took care of Kylie and I very well, but no." And and then I thanked him for breaking up with me. And he was like, "Well, no one's ever done that before." And I said, "Well, hey, I wouldn't have made all these changes if I had stayed with you."
I'm all about that. Absolutely.
And so every once in a while he'll contact me because he realized that I was serious, right?
Sure.
He's even on my face group book, uh, face group.
Yeah, yeah. Just before we wrap up here, what's that Facebook group all around
It's
about?
called Worthy of Beauty and Wellness.
Sounds very positive.
Yeah.
What are you
So,
guys doing there?
I mostly quotes and then I elaborate on the quotes.
Positive quotes,
Yeah.
worthy of beauty and wellness. Is it mostly women?
Yeah, it's mostly women, but there are some men on there too
Sure.
because I have, I requested some men that I knew on there.
Yeah.
But I have
Safe men.
I also, the beauty part, I have lives on there on how to do.
Is this the group you run yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Cool.
have like red light therapy on there and hour facials
So
and
how
stuff
about
like that.
all this stuff you talked about here today? Do you get all into all that stuff?
Yes, like I
Reiki
have
healing
I
and-
have like Tuesday is transformation Tuesday and I'll
I
put
like it.
a bunch of posts on that. Or Monday is motivation Monday.
Alrighty.
So I have a theme for every day of the week on there.
That's awesome. Yeah, check out that. Let's see it one more time up on the screen. That's Michelle with her Worthy of Beauty and Wellness Facebook group. Check that out. Michelle's got so much good stuff to say. I'm going to have her on again to talk about generational trauma
Oh yeah.
because we
Let's
we
do
were
it.
talking about that.
I
And,
can tell you about body code for that one. That
so
really,
much. You know,
yeah.
you have such a wealth of information that we can't even get to it all in one episode. So we'd have to do different episodes on all this different stuff. But this is the Dealing With week. We're going to keep going. Next episode should be Identity Crisis, dealing with identity crisis. That one's going to be really good. Dealing with suicidal thoughts, dealing with trauma. These are all going to be topics this week. And Brandon K Show is every day in March. That's 31 episodes, 31 podcasts. Some of them are here in the studio, some of them are at home on the live stream. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Thanks for being here, Michelle.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.